whine about the variability, you call it. Because when it went out, I knew, or we scientists knew, there's something in there with the prism-like technology that we are picking out. But we don't know what it is, and all of you will perceive it as noise. Okay? And you're going to say, gee, sometimes I get 350, sometimes I get 400. What's wrong with your prism device? No, it's nothing wrong with the prism device. It's everything that you are wrong. Because, actually you're not wrong, we are wrong, because we never had been able to articulate that noise is actually E.T. trying to call home. And we are just at that level, if you will, that we are able to decipher what that noise is. And I'll go into that in a minute, all right? So that's why we have prism. And so the global scan, as you can see, right, we are all moving towards the left. Not good. You should be all towards the right. So globally, once again, this is just to support what Yoko is saying. There's a huge opportunity for all of you because a huge customer, everybody needs an improvement in their nutritional status. Okay. And Yoko have shown you this. I've done this. I grouped them into two groups. One is the fact that if you do more of those things on the left, you're going to improve your nutritional health. And that's what really, this is my first intro now. You see, I never use the word antioxidant. I never use the word carotenoid. Every one of you. I'm so impressed all of you can actually pronounce carotenoid. So, and because it took me a few years to learn how to pronounce that word. So, it's a nutritional monitor. And therefore, when you do more of the things on the left, that becomes your nutritional status goes up. But on the other side, you need to do less. BMI, all of us know, is something to do with weight management and so on. So with that one, the lower your BMI, the better your score. So that's how you should look at it. So what do you see overall when you look at those things? Many of those things are lifestyle factors. Right? These are external factors affecting your body. And it's changing something. And I'm going to take you to the future because that is a great indicator of certain things that are happening. And PRISM is such an exciting tool that even universities, we have dropped some names with you previously. J02 from China, Yongsai from Korea, and so on. Well, there's a little university up the road in Palo Alto, right? And won't name what it is because they're not as good as the other one on the East Coast, but nonetheless. We had a collaboration going with them, and this is what it showed. This is interesting. It's relating to what Yoko has alluded to, health span. Really, guys, health span is about quality of life. Nothing more, nothing less. It is what it is, right? Those 10 years that Yoko showed you, that it is a quality of life. That's what we are really interested in. It's not how you live longer, it's how you can live younger longer. Just one word makes all the difference. So we did this study and we said, look guys, Stanford, you guys are, did I say Stanford? Okay, whatever. You guys are so good, Dr. Chang, Dr. Annie Chang, no relationship by the way. And why don't you go and take our PRISM and do a study, among people, scan them, obviously, and at the same time, give us some skin tissue and blood. Doctors can do that, by the way, in case you don't know. So, and skin doctors are particularly fascinating profession. They really take biopsy of your skin without telling you. So, anyway, when we got those samples, we sent it to a gene lab that we have been collaborating with and asked them to say, okay, show me what are the genetic changes you are able to see in all these samples. And all these all these, samples that we send, they're blinded. So the geneticist lab or genetics lab, they don't know where the samples are coming from and so on. And they show us really interesting data. This is where age log, that all of you are familiar with, right? The genetic sources of aging and so on, actually came into play and opened our eyes and gave us a really incredible insight. And that is, there are epigenetic changes going on. Epi is nothing but a Greek word that says things on the surface of the gene, which are all on the DNA strand. Okay? And those things you can change. When you go and have an analysis by Ancestry and Me, or 23andMe, this genetic lab, they are looking for genetic physical defect. Those things are immutable. You have it, you have it. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing in the world that can change it except one, to put in a new gene. That's a gene therapy, whatever. Okay? But epigenetics and the epigenetic changes are very much controlled by the environment, like lifestyle factors. And what we are able to show, the higher your PRISM score, in other words, your nutritional health score, you are gaining 4 more years of biological, you're younger in terms of what I consider it as your biological aging. Every single tissue, there are more than 11 tissues here, and all those tissues age. I tend to put brain fairly high because that's the first thing that tends to go with aging and so on. So what have we done? Another translation, right? So what the PRISM is telling me, in 15 seconds, what your biological age is. I've separated, or the PRISM device has separated biological aging from chronological aging. If you're 70 years old, you don't need to be 70. You can be at least 65 years younger in terms of some of the tissues. You see, that's the transformation, guys. That's what you're looking at with the PRISM. Okay? It's an incredible tool, a non-invasive tool that all of you have in your hands, and you are able to explain and describe what's happening to an individual. So on the average, if I aggregate all those numbers together, it's about 4 years. That's pretty significant. And Yoko has already shown you the number one thing that can actually improve the PRISM score very often would be supplementation. There you go. Age law, genes. We have a device, antioxidant. Now we have PRISM. Boom, boom. Here's a boom, boom, chop. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And you have a transformation to nutritional health. And we did one while we launched the PRISM to healthy aging. Dissecting that. Everybody talks about biological aging, but nobody has been able to show that in a visible manner. You have. And these are just some of the universities that we are collaborating with. And there are more data to come. And the reason why these data are becoming more and more meaningful is because we have the original scanner that we had for 20 years. We have a huge database. No other company. They can keep on saying, oh yeah, we're measuring antioxidant, but they can't translate because they don't have the database. That's proprietary. That's why Joe Sieper is getting excited too. Because, this is where the AI, if you don't know, AI doesn't operate if you don't have data. Okay, I'll come back to variability a little bit. The PRISM is not La Boo Boo. Many of my Asian friends will know what they are, but I think there was one, Pop Mart? right? You go buy that thing and you don't know, you open the box and you get whatever color and then you hang it on your backpack, right? It's a fashion statement. You shouldn't be doing that with a prism. I've seen some of the variations that are coming back. Yes, there is some variation, and I will share with you. Under controlled scientific environment, I'm able to show that variation is fairly tight. But if you abuse the prism, it's not going to behave. I've seen Ryan pulling the prism out from his pocket and immediately put it on his left hand and start sort of scanning. Well, you can't tell the CEO, don't do that. You know, you're setting a bad example. So anyway, the point is, that one you have, when we launched it, you had some instructions given to you. Right? But as soon, you got so excited because it looked so good, as soon as the manual, the little thing that falls out from the package, you threw it away, didn't you? Yeah. None of you ever read the TV that you have, the manual that came with it. I never did. I bet you they never did with the Prism too. And then you whine about the variation. So, all things considered, however, I'm just going to set up the time to really tell you that precision, every single measuring device, all the way back to the blood pressure cuff, there is variation. 7% with the blood pressure. Aura ring. You like to wear that thing when you put it into your finger and you throw your wedding ring away? Yeah, the one that light up underneath, you used to look at it. Yeah, that has up to 40% variation. Go complain to auto manufacturer. You never did? You just say, oh, it's okay. So ours, under control environment, is about 5 to 8%. All right? And we're beginning to understand, thanks to all of you actually, that when you sent in your data with the Prism and so on, we plotted it. Okay? And this is what we have. When you are below 500, you're tightly aggregated together. This is what we call science, fancy name. You can drop it off and say, we did a regression analysis during your cocktail party that you go to, and say this, they'll immediately understand what you're talking about. So they're very, very tightly together. The problem is, as you score higher, there's a more scattering of that number. And that is what affecting our algorithm. You see that fancy equation at the top there? That's the algorithm equation that we use to drive the whole AI in our Prism calculation to finally generate a score or a value for you, okay? We are adjusting that. We're now beginning to realize, wow, when you hit a certain high number, and also when you are from a certain region of the world, that equation has to be adjusted. And that's what we're doing. The first step that you're going to get is that higher thing, the higher score that Yoko mentioned to you. Oh, I should tell you, it's a platinum region. Okay? That's going to be launched very shortly. And that will bring it up to about 1200. And then they will be following on. Once we finish completing the analysis in each region, we can also adjust the equation. So that's why we are adjusting that. All right, I think I'll end with this, on this noise thing that I first started off with. Think about your radio, all right? I hope my buddies at the back will help me out on this one. Okay, I'm asking them to tune to a particular station here in Johannesburg, and it's a station that all of you ought to understand. Can you play the first station?
To what do we owe this great honor where Sir Thibaut Church decides to descend upon the airwaves? What's going on?
You got it, right? English. Each and every one of you, I think, would understand what it is. Can you give me the second station?
Gimana nga lebitso la ka ke Thabo, the birth of joy buku.
Tumaliza wala mana nakakijikile magesere ladies
Okay.
soski.
There's an African tribal language. None of us can understand that. I'll give you one more, sort of based on the Western language, right? Give me the third station.
Maar nee, dankie vir jou tyd. Ek moet soms soos jy sê, daai vrou wat so hang, behalwe dat dit my vrou is, ek het haar op daai dag baie selfredingsslae gegee. Dit is hoe ek dit doen as jy gewonder het.
That's Afrikaan. Mikkel Sino might be able, because it was based originally on the Dutch language. But none of us could understand that too. 3 languages, almost saying the same thing, but only one. And that's what the prism is when I bring it in. It's the fact that the noise is actually a language. And the language is related to some really exciting new molecules or substances that we're picking up from the body. That's indicative of another aspect of healthy aging. So watch this space for the next time, Kimberly. Maybe we are able to tell you what we are measuring in addition to the carotenoid. Okay. So I'll just give you another analogy here. So English, prism, everybody understands. Afrikaan, you will call prisma. Maybe I can figure out. But definitely in Zulu, you will not be able to understand that word, because that is also means prism. But nonetheless, all these drives in, I would consider the bottom 2 to be the type of noise that we have to decipher and convert that to a language. And I think that's pretty exciting. It's not noise, it's information. It's just that we don't have the ability right now to do it. So what does it tell you? That's the future, if you will, of the prism technology and the platform. It's wide. It's profoundly indicative and predictive as we go forward. Right. And nobody has that. What you have in your hands is a tool that is going to change the world, literally in the world of nutrition. We're not talking biomarkers and so on and so forth, right? We now know what we have in your hand is a marker of nutrition, substantiated. It's your mirror to your body. You're getting data from your body. Why is that important? Each and every one of us, we go and have a physical with the doctor, right? What does the doctor first thing when they do? Give me your blood. And then what does he do with the blood? Send it to the lab. To do what? To get markers. Why? Because he cannot diagnose what's wrong with you without data. So in our world of nutrition and in our world, what you have in your hand is in real time, and wow, I don't know. If I were you, I would be measuring everybody possible in a sense, because it really helps. What you see is what you believe. What I say, you maybe take it with a dose of salt. Not so much. And when that happens, when they can measure, you develop a habit, and that's what you have when it becomes ritual. So, and then now we have connected all the dots for you. Genetics, age law, has been our platform for 10 years, $15 billion, and so on. Now we've connected it to the prism. There's no rubbernecking. It's the same story, but at a much more powerful level. Hopefully, with this background, you're able to appreciate the prism, look at it with a slightly different light, and be able to see when and how you can incorporate it into the new skin opportunity. Okay, Yoko, I believe you might be coming back up. Yep. And